All right. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, minions. Come on in. We're going to, I got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, and we're going to have a special guest. You guys are going to like it. So let's start out with some shout outs here real quick. And I will mention this again later in the broadcast. I want to do a couple of shout outs to, obviously, to my wife, Mrs. Edge. A lot of you know what she's going through. So please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. She's doing well so far, by the way. But we've got another treatment to go to tomorrow afternoon, and that pretty much takes all day. It's like 7 hours. The Arizona Meetup Group. I want to give them a big shout out. That would be Q Ball, Matt, Mattisfaction, Satu Dave. Obviously, I'm part of that group. Nebu Cloud, Evil E, like all of those guys that we met. Fantastic. Kyle was awesome too. Like everybody. So just big shout out to them. Special shout out to Dave and Maddie behind the scenes. I've been talking to them off and on a lot. They've been really great and really helpful. Also, shout out to Cheapskate, Maddie's wife. She's a physical therapist. She's helped me with a couple of small things I've been dealing with my arthritis in my back and shoulder. So shout out to her. And also to Uncle Cow, who watches all these live streams after the fact. So here's to you, brother. And I will talk a little bit more about Uncle Cow as we go along. All right, so let's start out with some hellos and howdies. Of course, I got Michael Morgan, Mimo, one of my moderator extraordinaires. Thank you, sir, for being here every week. I very much appreciate that. Freak Show EDC. What's up, Jeremy? Howdy. He says, I got a couple beers there. I'm going to have one of those after the live. Just got home from work, and I'm on time this week. Well, that's cool. We got David Iverson in the house, throwing out some welcomes and some waves. Darnell B85, Eionan's Edge. Good evening. Hopefully, you and the wife are doing well. We are at the moment. We are doing okay. Tomorrow's another treatment, so we'll see how things go after that. But so far, so good. Let's see what else we got. A Bang Bang's in the house tonight. What's up? What's up, Bang Bang? Blades of Daniel is in the house. Says hello, kids. I like it. Let's see who else we got in here. Devil Dog, hoorah. There you go, my man. Yep. So cool. We got a few folks in here already, huh? Marcos Gamma. I like the new avatar, by the way. That's cool. I dig it. Todd Carr's in the house as well. He says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, sir. Much appreciated. Thanks for stopping in. Marco says, hey there, David Iverson and Michael Morgan. Welcome to all my brothers. Yeah, you guys are. You are like part of my family. I've got a kind of a, now you can see if you weren't here last week that I am finally in the new studio space. I'm in the new space, which I posted on Instagram and I showed on the live last week. This is working out great for me. There's my backyard, my patio, my pool. I can see the weather outside. I could even lay here on the couch and do my lives if I really wanted to, right? But anyway, the one thing I don't have is I don't have a gooseneck to put my webcam on. So I have kind of this like carpenter's clamp on my monitor with like a adjustable piece of web strapping, and then I have my webcam hanging off the top of my big screen here so that it's kind of at a more appropriate level. Last week it was facing down at me. It looked like it was up on the ceiling somewhere. So that's temporary. I should have the new gooseneck for the webcam, hopefully for next week's live. But I think this is acceptable. It looks pretty good. So hopefully you guys think so too. And let me know if you guys can all hear me well enough. I've been messing around with the sound because it's a whole different system. I have an Asus laptop here and a whole different setup than I had in the garage. So hopefully the sound and the mic is good to go. Hopefully I don't need to raise or lower anything. Let's see who else we got in the house. Ed Harrison just popped in. He says, hey, Eionan's Edge and everyone. What's up, Ed? Good to have you here this evening, sir. Good. What else did I want to tell you? So obviously new studio. I got a lot of news for you guys. I have a lot of news. And I have a guest tonight who all of you folks that are in here tonight are going to know him, but I think you're going to really like it. I'm going to have him on twice, actually. And I have some other big guest news for next week. You guys are going to like this a lot. I got a guest coming on next week. I think you guys are going to be excited. So looking good and sounds good. Okay, perfect. Good, excellent. I just didn't know what it sounded like. Last week I noticed there was a little bit of mic pop because I had the mic set a little too high. So hopefully everything is good to go. All right, and also don't forget, guys. While you're in here, we got about 19 people in here. Remember to hit the like button for me. Pop over there and hit the like button. It helps my analytics. The Johnsons, what's up? What's up, my man? What's up, brother? Good to see you. All right, so still a lot of greetings going on, so that's cool. I'm just trying to think what else. I've got a bunch of stuff for you tonight. I've got uh, the pocket checks. I've got some knife previews. I've got news about the channel, merchandise. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Kniferights.org, Doug Ritter. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Like I said, I've got a special guest coming on for 5 and 5. I'll talk about next week's guest. And then, of course, there will always be story time at the end of the day. You know that. My Tuesday lives will always have story time. We're going to talk about my Saturday socials, which are coming up very soon. So we'll talk about that too. Who else just jumped in here? Spokane Vape Man is in the house. Says hello, everyone. What's up, my man? Native Wild Man's in the house. Oh, what's up, Wild Man? Good to see you. Also, anytime that if you guys are into fishing and hanging in the outdoors, anytime you see one of Native Wild Man's lives, you should go over and check it out, man. It's just him hanging out, fishing, catching fish, enjoying the outdoors. I popped in for a little while on one of his lives recently, and where the spot that he was fishing was absolutely gorgeous. I would have loved to have just been sitting there in a camping chair with my line in the water and a beer in my hand, just hanging out and talking with him. So I hung out there for a little bit and talked to him about the stuff that some of the gear he had and the knives he was carrying. But check out his lives too. They're really laid back, and they're mostly just him outdoors doing his thing. But it's really, really cool. So we got, there's my other moderator. There's my brother from another mother, Gonzo Reviews. There he is. Thank you, sir. Jamie Blades and EDC is in the house. Woohoo, yeah. Right, metalheads. Let's see who else. So we got a fair amount of people in here. There's like 25 people in here right now. There's Devil Dog. There's Tony Boombots. What's going on, my friend? So I think we got enough folks in here at the moment. Let's start doing pocket checks. So tell me what you're carrying in your pocket tonight. I will show you what I'm carrying. I did post a picture of it a little while ago on Instagram too. But also, I'd like to know, besides what you're carrying, what's the most unique EDC item you have? Maybe it's something that you bought and you really like, but you don't carry that much. Maybe it's something that's just out of the ordinary. Maybe it's a cool rock. Maybe it's a fidget device. Maybe it's an antique coin. Tell me what you think your coolest or most unique EDC item is. It doesn't have to be something you put in your pocket every single day, but I know some of you got some cool stuff. So tell me what you think that is. All right, Will B is in the house. There he is. I saw him somewhere. There he is, giving out some greetings. So cool. We got Gene. The Johnsons are in the house. All right, Gene and Kayla. Tony's here. Marcos is here. Cool, man. I appreciate you guys popping in tonight. So, Blades and EDC is already on it. Jamie's, bam, he's right there. He says he's got the Demco 8020.5, the Pena Apache. Not really unique, but a peace dollar. Okay, cool. I got something recently that's pretty cool and pretty unique, and I've been carrying it a lot lately, and it was a gift. So that makes it even more special, right? Let's see. Anybody else throwing up their pocket checks yet? Let's see. We got Blades Hook Daniel. He says, today I have the Boker Plus Kansai LRF and the Kaiser Bag Leader XL. Very nice. So that's a cool carry. My carry is a little more minimalistic today, but that's mostly because I was around the house. We ran out once this morning and then came back, and that was it. So I didn't have a big carry today. Bang bang, the mini malice hasn't left my pocket. I bet. That's a super cool knife, man. I mean, it's just a scaled down archbishops, essentially, kind of, and those are really cool anyway. So like the what is it there? the mini Archbishop, right? And then there's the Kaiser version, which I have one of those too. I can't think of the name of that one at the second. Blades Hook Daniel says, I carry a silver eagle dollar from 1987 that my dad gave me. There you go. See, that's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for what do you guys carry that's unique? A lot of times people carry stuff because it has some meaning or it was a gift or right. So let's see. Gonzo is carrying the Artisan Tylos. Very nice, my brother. A Lancelot wallet, an Olight Machine Air brass pen, art company organizer, PT 145. Spokane Bake Man is carrying the Demco 8020.5 and a Ferrum Forge Prolix. Very nice. Tony Boombots is carrying a Cold Steel SR1 Light. Picket playing around the house too. That's okay, man. We appreciate you hanging out, listening. Michael Morgan says Shaman S30V, black canvas micarta with a CME and a custom tie clip. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I would probably get a Shaman and S30V. I mean, and Native 5 and S30V is one of my favorite knives. I carry a knife and a flashlight, nothing unique. Okay. We might have to change that. Let's see. David Iverson says his unique item is a cat decision coin. Nice. And as usual, he's carrying a ZT0308, We the People limited edition, Leatherman Wave, an Olight I1R Pro, and an Olight I5R Zombie with a Forest Hank. Very nice, sir. David Carr, kicking it at home today. So just the Kubi KU 322 and a Civivi Elementum. You guys will have to excuse me for 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. Okay, so yeah, Kubi KU 322 and the Civivi Elementum. Well, the 322, we talked about that in last week's live. That's the poor man's Arius, right? And they call it a Titius. But if they ever came out with one of those with titanium scales and maybe 14C or S30 or something like that for blade steel, I'd probably own 2 of them because I love that knife. Let's see. This chat jumped a little bit. Devil Duck says no pickets warm. Freak Show, he's got the ZTO 460 with BGM regrind and SDK micarta scales. Very cool. Smoky Mountain Knife Works, M4 Bug Out, Sharpshooter, Laid Back Jack, Forest Hank, Olight Warrior Mini 2, Leatherman Charge Plus, Log and Jot or notebook, and a 3X tactile turn pens. Right, so 3 tactile turn pens. Very nice. That's a lot of stuff. Let's see, Darnell B85. He's carrying the Roxxon Fantasy, the Baby B, a Zippo, Mora, Garberg, a mini Olight, an old Leatherman Kick, and a Civivi Hank. Cool. My unique item is my custom Jake's Jank. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. I don't talkie have carry anything unique. Oh, okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's all right. That's not, I mean, you got a lot of stuff in your pocket, so carrying extra stuff's not always a big deal either. Native Wildman has a Benchmade Volley, Volker Kalishnikov Black Widow Hawkbill, Case Mini Fin, Case Texas Toothpick, Witch's Brew, a rock, and I have some unique rocks. So rocks are pretty cool, right? Like my wife, being a lapidary person, has so many cool looking rocks. And I used to collect like different kinds of rocks, like lapis lazuli and tiger eye and all kinds of stuff like that. Hematite, right? But so anyway, that's what I always feel it's interesting to find out what people carry in their pockets. So, and also Wildman has mixed up his carry a little bit because he's usually got Cold Steel Lawman and the Mini Lawman, you know. So like tonight he's got a different carry, so that's really cool. He gets the Volker Kalishnikov Black Widow Hawkbill. So I dig it, man. I love it when people like mix it up a little bit from time to time. Just Nate Dog, Blue Bug Out if we're doing pocket check. Yep, we are. I was also asking about unique items, and welcome in, Nate, as well. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, folks. There is 24 people in here. Oh, we're doing all right. We're at 22 likes. I dig it. Okay. Gene says he's carrying a Native 5. I love the Native 5, dude. Got to be in G10 for me. Like, I have no problem with the FRN for other people, but me personally, got to have the G10 Native 5. Poker Trapper and Random Pocket Stuff. Very cool. Michael Morgan says S30B, it's still a super steel to me. True. It was the first true super steel, right? Back around 2000 or whatever it was. And everything since then that's been made specifically for knives has been because of that. Let's see what else we got. Michael Morgan says the Boker has a flipper toothpick now. Okay, cool. Todd Carr says, I usually carry a piece of wood for carving on the go, so unique in progress stuff. Okay, there you go. That's what I want to know. Gonzo says the Bully is was one of my first knives over $100. Yep. Okay. So see, this is what I like. I like this kind of stuff, right? Freak show. Oh, that was supposed to say I don't really. Okay, Swipe got me. I don't really carry anything you need. Understood, brother. I got you. I'm like that too, especially if I'm like typing on a phone or something like that. I'm always hitting the wrong freaking buttons, and then autocorrect is making it into something else. So you're trying to type the word roof, and it ends up being fucking robot or something. Let's see, Ed Harrison today. My Civivi conspirator, and I always carry my $2 bill that my dad gave me when I was just a kid for good luck. Awesome. There we go. That's what I like, man. I like that kind of stuff. All right, so let's see. Stacy Bolster Blades is in the house. What's up, sister? Hey there, Runner family. I have a mini sheepdog with green G10 and XL sheepdog and tan micarta. It's used, and I love that clang it makes. I agree. The full size and the XL sheepdogs definitely have kind of a clanky clang to them when they open, especially the XL, because you got that big old, almost like a butcher blade, right? Let's see, who else? Anybody else here throwing up pocket checks? No, I think we're good on the pocket checks for the moment. If you did not throw up your pocket check, go ahead and do that for me. All right. I am also still waiting for our guest. I have not seen him enter the chat, so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Okay, anyway, my pocket check. I always share my pocket check with you guys, so let's do that. So I am carrying a Victorinox Classic in Desert Marine Camo, SD Classic, one of my favorites. I switch up between this and Tinker and the Cadet, which they now call the Recruit. So I always tend to have an SAK in my pocket. I am carrying a Mrs. Edge fidget ball. This is one she made for me. Red, white, and blue, and it has a blue orb, glass blown orb in the middle of it. This is a 2.0 version now that has the little orb in the middle of it. I am carrying the Olight, the i3T EOS. See if we can get that to focus a little bit. Oh, it's being a little bit of a bitch, huh? Okay. Anyway, that's what I got. I got a bunch of Olights, and this is one of them. And I am carrying for a knife. I am carrying the Generation 1 Damn Designs Wraith with the two-tone blue and black carbon fiber and the M390 Warncliffe style blade. I picked this knife up from my good friend, brother Javan. He was looking to get rid of this, and he had contacted me, and I of course, I scooped this knife right up from him. This is a Gen 1 Damn Designs Wraith. Pretty cool knife. I like it. It's good size, too. All right, so that's what I got from my primary knife. I am also carrying a Mrs. Edge microfiber cleaning cloth hank. And this is pretty cool. I really dig this. This came from NebuCloud. When we were at the knife meetup, NebuCloud gave me hey, there's Grumpy Grunt. There's the Grumpster. What's up, my man? There he is. There's the Grumpy Monkey giving you the finger. When I was at the Arizona knife meetup, I gave NebuCloud one of those fidget balls. I wanted everybody who's attended the knife meetup in Arizona knife meetup to have a fidget ball. So I gave everybody that was a new one. And then he gave me one of these. This is a yes or no coin. So it has yes on the front side, which is pretty cool. Some little hands and some sun and a moon. And then it has no on the backside, and it has the Angel of Death. And it's made out of nickel, silver, nickel, whatever. But it's the size of a silver dollar, so it's a pretty good size coin. But I really dig this. It feels good in the hand too. It's not like rough or anything. It has a nice feel to it. So it's basically a yes or no coin. You got yes on one side and a no on the other. Heads or tails, yes or no. So that's what I'm carrying today. That is my pocket check, right? I got the Gen 1 Damn Designs, Wraith, the Olight, the Swiss Army knife and camo, Mrs. Edge, Cleaning Hank, and Fidget Ball, and the Nebu Cloud yes no coin. Like it. Let's see who jumped in here. There he is. Okay. Let's see. There's Grumpy. He just joined the live here. Me with Knives is in the house. What's going on? Me with Knives. Put your pocket check up for everybody to see if you like. We're also asking, besides your pocket check, what unique item do you have or do you carry? You don't have to carry it every day, but maybe you got something unique, like you got this special coin, or you've some people are saying they've got like coins or dollar bills, $2 bills that they got from their father when they were a kid, and they've carried them in their whole lives. So just let me know what you're carrying, if you're carrying something unique. All right, let's see who else here. Let's catch up on the comments because we got some other people that jumped in. There's Papa Rhino giving the greetings out to everybody. Scott N is in the house too. I'm not sure what the just thermometers thing was all about there, but I missed some comments apparently. G-Ball at the in-laws. What's up, my man? Glad to have you in here. Oh, there's Gene. He says, forgot to say I'm carrying dice, an Olight i3T. Got one of those right here, buddy. And a pocket sharpener too. That's okay. Cool. That's a good, I like that. Pocket sharpener is good. Yeah. Gene, a lot of people doing greetings. I dig it. I dig it. Meet with Knives. I missed your pocket check. Throw it up again, Will. There's way too many comments here. Sorry if I missed it, man. The chat jumped 2 or 3 times on me. So throw it up again. I'll try to catch it. Just Nate Dog says, I'm looking for a perfect silver Oz to carry around. Lots of neat designs out there. Okay. Cool. Papa. Stacy's greeting Papa. You missed my pocket check. Yes, I know. Throw it back up. Me with Knives says today he's carrying the Civivi Knox, the Gerber Sedulo, Lumen Top Tool AA, Butane Lighter, Leatherman Surge, and a Mrs. Me with Knives Hank. Love it. Love it. I love it. There's Mrs. Freak Show. What's up? Thank you, man, for coming in. All right, let's see what else we got here. There's Byron Kennedy. Howdy, Eionan's Edge mods and all this Tuesday. Sorry I'm late. Just got okay. Yeah, that's all right, Dr. Smart. We know what that's all about. I'm going through that with the wife. Throw your pocket check up for everybody to check out there, Byron, when you get a second. And also let us know if you have anything unique in your pocket. I'll try to catch up on some comments here, and then we're going to move forward. G-Ball at the in-laws. Arcane Designs Crawler. Oh, that's freaking nice. I love them. I wish I could afford the one that's for sale, like Cue Ball's got for sale. We Roxy 3. I've got one of those. I love it. Spartan Blade Harsey. Damn, you're killing me, brother. You're killing me. The Spartan Harsey is on my must-have list. 2021 edition with the old 4-inch S45 coated blade. I like it. That's cool. Let's see. When is Ritter Fixed Blade Day? We're going to talk about the Ritters in a few minutes, actually, later on in the live. Trying to see who else I have. I also have a 1938 $1 silver certificate. Very cool. Very cool. I see those occasionally get given out. People are like, "What is this? Is this fake?" And I'm like, "No, that's a silver certificate. That's a very old dollar bill, basically." Yeah. So what else we got? Off topic, like most of my questions. What's everyone's favorite carry ammo? That's actually a good question. And by the way, well, I will talk about this some more later. That's something that we're going to be able to do a little more on my Saturday socials that are coming up, and I will talk more about those. I have that on my list of things here to talk about. Let's see. Nebu Cloud is in the house. I just shouted you out, brother. I just shouted you out. I was just talking about you, Nebu Cloud, because I was telling everybody how much I loved this yes no coin that I got from you. I've been carrying this a lot. I handed out fidget balls at the Arizona meetup, and Cloud gifted me a yes no coin, a heads or tails yes no coin, and I love it. I've been carrying that thing a lot. He says, "Happy Taco Tuesday today. I have the Victorinox Midnight Manager and an Emesis Alien Skull by Leandro de Sousa." Stacy Bolster Blade says, "Not sure how unique it was, but I carry a rose gold pen that has 3 ink color choices and mechanical pencil and is the size of regular." That is very cool. And there you go. See, that's freaking cool. That's what I mean. Like, I want to know what else people carry. I know some people carry pens and flashlights and knives and fidget items, but like, I'd like to know what else people throw in their pockets, right? So that's cool. There we go. Oh, is this it? Is this it, Wilby? I carry part of a lanyard from my Navy days. Okay. I like that. Right? Commemorative. Nostalgic. Let's see. Grimsmo Norseman, Kansep Predatout, Tucson TS 291, Kaiser Raylight Frag Mini Sheepdog, Civivi Chevalier, Olight Baton 3, and an Everyman Grafton pen. Laytook Daniel says, "Wow, I like that dollar." Nibby Clouds giving some greetings out. All right, did I get every Joe Kasper's in the house? What's up? Bama Ninja's in the house. 45 ACP. For me, since I carry 9 most of the time, Gonzo, I like the Hornady Critical Defense. That's what I usually carry in my 9 and my 380. I carry Hornady Critical Defense. And if I don't carry that, I usually carry Hornady XTP. So those are my 2 main choices. American Gunner's pretty good too. I like that. I have some Hydro Shocks. I still use those. Depends on what I'm carrying at the time. All right, so we are gonna let's see. Byron Kennedy G-Ball, did anyone tell you can go cross-eyed playing with so this always sneaks in the chat every week, right? This is what keeps it interesting. Sphere Gold Dot, love that too. That's good ammo. Actually, in the last couple of years, if you didn't have a fairly good stockpile of SD ammo, then you had to take what you could get, right? Fortunately for me, I had a fair amount of that on hand because I like to rotate it around every year and make sure I'm using newer stuff. But anyway, yes, we will. That is, yeah, me with Nice says my favorite carrier was S30V. Okay, so that's, yeah, there you go. We'll talk about that a little bit too. The sweet spot for knife deals, right? Let's see. Grumpy Grunt says, "I carried the ZT-0801. Was that a loaner, by the way? Hint, hint. A Shaman, a Kvist variant PE. Love that knife. Fucking love that knife. Boker Nesme, and I carry what is it? A Tiwaz rune. Oh, that's cool. A rune stone. I like it. I used to have a Viking rune, like it was a replica of a Viking rune. It was really cool. I lost it though. I got a hole in my pocket. It was kind of like sharp on one corner, cut through, and it like cut, and I dropped it. It came out of my pocket. I lost it. Pissed me off. Let's see. I hope the week hasn't been too tough. It's been okay. All right. So, somebody just said they carry a brass. There it is. A Bama Ninja says, "I carry a brass dog whistle." Okay, cool. Yeah, Gonza. So for 9mm, my favorite Hornady critical duty or critical defense. Yep, there you go. I'm with you, brother. There you go. I like the critical defense better. And there's a couple of little legal arguments for that, but I don't want to get into that on my knife forum. We might talk more about pew-pews and vinyl records and a whole bunch of other stuff on the Saturday socials that are coming up very soon. So you definitely want to try to make a couple of those because the topics are going to be a lot more varied. It's going to be more laid back and relaxed, and we can talk about a lot more stuff. It's not going to be strictly knife content. Let's see. Underwood ammo. Yep. Okay. 100 USA Gunner. Yep. Mayod's carried that too. I've got some of that in my safe. All right. So yeah, Spear Gold Dot performs good. Sig V Crown. Yep. I've used that as well. So again, there's a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of good. The technology for self-defense ammunition has come a long ways. All right. So yeah. So we got a lot of stuff in here. Rip Tex. People said you can't really go wrong these days. So carry ammo. Exactly. That's what I was just getting at. There's so there's so much good stuff out there. You just gotta read up and find out what's doing well. And Miss Freakshow, she says, I carry a knife in my bra, a pew in my purse, and a resting bitch face. Fucking love it. That's what I love. I love that kind of stuff in the chat. Okay, so anyway, so I did the first page. So I want to talk real quick. I am going to bring my guest on. He is in the stream. He's patiently waiting. I will get him backstage pretty soon. But Stacy says that's the best part of Mrs. Freak Show. G-Ball says, well done, Miss Freak Show. So I want to talk real quick. I now have a merch store. Okay, I just started it. It's got a few items in it. And I am doing it not to make lots of money or anything like that, but I've had people that have contacted me and they've basically said, hey, are you ever going to have shirts? Are you going to have, hoodies or whatever? And I thought about that and I'm like, I'm not really doing this to make money. But when I looked into it and I talked to a couple of people that are already doing it, like Matisfaction, you get a little bit off of each shirt sale. And what I figure is I don't really plan on monetizing my channel, even when I finally do get to 1,000 subscribers somewhere way out there in the future. But I figure that this way here, like it'll help me pay for the knives I ship back and forth and the boxes I'm sending out. I mentioned this last week. Like last week, I sent out like 4 packages, right? I sent 1 out priority mail, and I think I sent 3 out first class. So, $5 a pop for the first class, almost $10 or sometimes a little more than that for the priority mail ones. And it builds up pretty fast. So I am doing a merch store. And I'm going to share that with you right now. So I'm going to share the link for the merch store. So hold on just a second. I will throw this up in the chat. Let me get to it here. Boom, there it is in chat. And let me see if I can remember how to share a tab here. So give me just a second and I will share screen. Chrome tab. Here it is. I think this will do it. I think this will do what I want it to do. And I think if I go back to here, there we go. All right, there it is. So there's the store. There's an address I just threw up there. It's Eionan's space edge.creator space spring.com. There will be more stuff. And I actually have a question about that. I have a question for you guys. I have a question about hoodies because somebody asked about, I was asked about t-shirts and hoodies. So there's 2 options for this. There are full zip hoodies that would only have the logo on the front left breast up here, the Eionan's Edge logo. And then there's pullover hoodies, which would have the bigger logo in the center above the pockets. So I don't know what you guys would prefer. I mean, I could throw both of them up there in the store, but I did not put hoodies up. I did not put women's V-necks up yet. There's a few other items I'd like to get in there. And I also want to offer an option for a black Eionan's Edge logo with lighter colored colored t-shirts and short and long sleeve shirts. So anyway, let me know what you think. So Papa Rhino says he definitely pull over hoodie. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so this is live now. So you can follow that link that I just put up in chat. You can go to Teespring or spring.com, I think it's called now, and type in a search for Eionan's Edge, and you'll see the store. These are the only 3 items I have in there right now. I don't make a lot of money off these. I'll give you you get to set a price, by the way. So like the $21 t-shirt, I think I make $6 off of, or $5.97 or some crazy thing like that. So it's not a lot. It's not like I make a ton of money off of this. I'm just doing it to hopefully pay for some shipping and some expenses for sending knives back and forth. Like I'm on the Apex list and some stuff like that. But if you've ever been looking for merchandise, check this place, check out the link here and bookmark it. And I will be adding more items. I will be putting hoodies up probably in the next couple of days, I hope. So there'll be hoodies there. I guess I'll just probably do both. Okay, so Stacy says, I can do one of those. Yep. So she says a shirt with the big main logo on the back and a small one on the front. Okay, cool. So right now there's short sleeve t-shirts and long sleeve t-shirts, and then I'm going to put ladies v-necks on there, and I'm going to put hoodies on there. So those are the three things I'm probably going to add to the store. So just so you guys know, remember, stuff on the front of the shirt is distracting because of my boobs. Well, I can't help that. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's what the deal is with the store. All right. So we're going to we'll remove that for now. We'll go back to the main screen. But so that's it. So if you're interested in the Eionan Zed's merchandise, check that out. It's on spring.com. Like I said, I'll repaste the link one more time in chat here in case anybody missed it, because everybody has been talking about 9mm versus other calibers. I didn't really want this to devolve into a pew conversation. We'll do that on Saturdays, guys. But anyway, that's what we're talking about there. We're talking about merchandise. Urban Woodsman's in the house too. Would be sweet to do a coffee mug with silver rather than the white. I could do a white coffee mug with black, but they do not offer silver. So they just don't. It's not the way it's done there through them. But I could do a white coffee mug with black, and I can throw that up at some point too. But I'm going to try to get the hoodies and the women's V-neck t-shirts up in the next couple of days. So again, if you purchase something great, I'm not going to get rich off of it, but it will help pay for shipping, and you can help promote the channel, which is always great. So there you go. There's my sales pitch, right? Help promote the channel and help me pay for shipping on items like when I send giveaway stuff around, or I send free stuff out to people a lot. People contact me and ask me for stuff. So anyway, there's the merchandise store. That's live right now, and I will be adding more merchandise to it probably by the end of this week, or by Saturday, I would think. So that's on spring.com, and you can just look up my name or look for that link. Hoodie, I like a pullover for the pocket, but zip ups are better for layering. It's a hard choice. I agree. And so that's the thing. Like for me, because I got a bad back and I have a bad shoulder and some other stuff, like pulling on a hoodie a lot of times is tough for me, right? And then like if you're like driving in a car and it gets too hot and you take the hoodie off, it's really hard to do that. Where like with a zip front one, you can unzip it and you can get one arm out and then get the other arm out and have your wife pull it to the side, right? Everybody's done that, or your significant other if you're a female. But anyway, so I like these days I prefer zip ups, but I like the look of pullovers better because you can get the whole logo on the front. But I agree with Stacy. I'll probably do a big logo on the back of one set of t-shirts and a chest logo on the front. And then the hoodies will probably be the same. I'll probably do the small logo on the front and a bigger logo on the back. So there you go. That's it. That's all I'm gonna talk about, the merchandise stuff. I do want to talk real quick before I bring on my 5 and 5 guest who's in the stream. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the knives that are on my channel this week. So for those of you who missed it, you need to go over and check it out. I reviewed, last night I posted the link on the Giant Mouse fixed blade. This is the GM F3. You can use it with or without the scales. This is a really super cool little knife. This is on loan to me courtesy of the grumpy grunt himself. All right, the grumpy monkey. So there it is. I really dig this. Go check out the review. This is a cool freaking knife. And I give an honest review on it. I have a little bit of an issue with the sheath, what have you. But you can use it with or without the scales, and it has some really cool hand holes on the inside of it. So check that out. That's live now. That's up now. That is the Giant Mouse fixed blade, the F3. And then a preview of my Friday knife review. This is a knife that surprised me. I was actually very surprised by this knife. I really like this knife a lot more than I thought I would. This is the O-Knife Drever. So there it is. This is the Drever, and this is this Friday's review. This was what I would consider a budget knife. This is under $70, can be had for around $60 when it's on sale. And I really like this. And Grumpy, it has a fucking humongous finger choil on the front. This finger choil is huge, fucking massive. So you might actually like this knife. I don't know, maybe you've reviewed it already. But anyway, the O Knife Dreamer is this Friday's the size of this choil. It's freaking huge. Okay. So anyway, that's it. Those are previews of the knives that I'm going to be reviewing. One of them's live now, the Fixie, and the knife that I'm going to be reviewing Friday. So I am going to post a link up here. I'm going to invite my guest for the 5 and 5 this week. And here is the link. You know who you are. The O Knife T'Challa is beautiful. Yes, actually, O Knife makes. I forget what OEM makes their knives. They don't actually make their knives. They design them, but I don't remember who the OEM is that makes those knives. So there's the link I just threw up for my 5 and 5 guest. You just click that link. It'll bring you into the backstage area of StreamYard. And this should be pretty fun, actually. This should be really fun. Also, I have an announcement a little later about next week's guest. You guys are going to really like this a lot. I might have 2 guests next week. I might have one that comes on and does 5 and 5 and sticks around, and another guest. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. I was going to say, when I first picked it up, I said it kind of has a Kaiser feel to it. So anyway, my guest is backstage. There he is. Okay. Hold on just one second. And I will bring him on. So, ladies and gentlemen, this week's special guest, this week's 5 and 5 guest is someone you all know and love very well. And he's coming on for the first time on my live stream, and he's going to do 5 and 5. So without further ado, let's get him in here.
What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. What's up, my man?
Not much.
I'm totally stoked to have you in here tonight. So obviously we got Papa Ryan, right? So he's actually going to be coming in twice for me. He's coming in tonight, and he's going to do some folding knives. And then 2 weeks from now, I'm going to do a little chat session on fixed blades, and he's going to come back and show you some fixed blade knives. And that makes me very excited. So what does it say? Your sound just took a bit of a shit. I don't think it was me, buddy. It might have been on your end. I think everything sounds okay here unless somebody else hears it. But anyway, so tonight he's going to be doing the 5 and 5. So is there a theme to these? Is
no,
there something
they're just my favorite 5 right now.
Okay, gotcha. So that's cool.
And to stay on what you were talking about, I don't have anything in my pockets because most of what I would carry is sitting on the table in front of me, but tactical everyday dad coin.
Nice. Oh, it's got the flag on the back too. I like that.
Yeah, and it's got a teddy bear holding a gun.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah. All right, gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. I dig that.
Then the other thing always in the pocket is the FU monkey from Grumpy.
You gotta have the FU monkey. Mine's a little darker. Fucking love that thing. I love it, man. I love those monkeys. So what have you got for us? Go ahead and tell us what you got there, brother.
So I guess we'll start with the Dylan Mallory custom Tylos.
Oh,
this one is number 5 out of the 36 that are made.
Let me bigify you. There we go. All right.
And right there on the blade, number 5 out of 36.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I really enjoy this knife. It is very, very fidgety. It drops shut.
Nice.
And
I like it.
For our anniversary, my wife got me the exclusive Natural Micarta Crewwear blade PM2 from Spyderco. I absolutely love this knife. This thing is butter. The action on it is perfection. And then on many people's recommendation, the Shaman with burlap micarta the exclusive.
Nice.
It's in S90V. I love this thing. It took me a little while to break it in, but once I got it lubed up and broke it in, it has quickly found a very good place in my pocket.
Awesome.
And then yesterday, said Stevie sent me my first Emp Edc, the thick boy.
Oh, the thick boy. The thick boy.
I love this thing.
That is a super cool knife, man.
Yeah, and I did get in on the pre-order for the Nimble W.
Yep. I'm so excited about that. That's for me, that's probably one of the most exciting knives that's come out this year is the Nimble W. So
which version did you get?
I ended up getting the reverse tux.
Okay.
So yeah. I kind of debated on the black one because my regular Nimble is black with blue hardware, but I didn't really want to buy a black one and then spend the extra, whatever it was, $70 for the extra stuff. So I was like, maybe I'll switch it up this time and go reverse tux.
Yeah, I got the black frag with the bronze hardware and clip and the satin blade.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that one's really nice too. That was kind of like, that was my third choice. I was like, because I didn't know how quickly they would go. You know, in the past, it's been minutes and they were all gone.
Well, as you know, I work overnights, so I set an alarm and I slept through it. And I was like, oh, crap, they're going to be all gone. And I got on and they were still available after I woke up, and I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I don't know how big that pre-order was, but I think it had to be quite a bit more sizable than the past ones, because usually within 5 or 10 minutes, all the knives would be spoken for.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And then my last knife would be the Concept Fenrir with titanium and natural micarta.
Oh, beautiful.
I love this thing. Little stout on the detent, but it's getting broken in and it's getting much better.
Oh, it's got a nice sound to it, though, once it cracks, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I absolutely love this thing.
Yeah, that's a sweet looking knife. I like that. I like the way the blade's done in the back with the little harpoon. The harpoon's way back so you can get your thumb up against it.
The thumb fits right in there perfectly.
That's very cool.
Nice choil so you can choke up on that.
I dig it. All right.
And then for my bonus knife.
Yeah. Just want to tell everybody, he was talking about bringing fixed blades, and I said, that's okay. Bring a bonus knife for tonight. So
my favorite, by far, knife company out there at the moment, Dogwood Customs. As you all know, I am a chef for going on 30 years here pretty soon. It has been my profession since the day I turned 14. So this is a Dogwood Customs K-tip. Look at those scales.
Oh my God. Oh.
So this one, I will never use in the kitchen. I used it one time. I just wanted to test it out when I first got it from Dan. And this was in a museum for several years. This was in the Kissick Museum.
Oh man, that thing is gorgeous. Now, is that the only one you have? I thought you had a regular one for every day for your regular chef.
Yes, I do. I definitely have one in natural micarta as well.
Right, and that's what I thought. I was pretty sure you had another one. But that one is just
it came with articles and pictures and paperwork for the museum.
Wow.
By far one of my favorite knives in the entire world.
Sure.
It came with a second one because he does outdoor knives too. And it came with a second one, which I'll show on the fixed blade we do.
Okay. Yeah.
And it as well was a museum piece. Yeah,
that's like I said, it's a work of art basically. And that's just another thing I'll tell everybody. So first of all, that's an amazing 5 and 5. Like that's fantastic. But the other thing I'll tell everybody is 2 weeks from now on the 16th, we're gonna have him back on. He's gonna show us some fixed blades off, and then we're gonna talk about fixed blades that night. I want to have a chat topic about fixed blade carry and what people like and don't like about them and all that. So that'll be a perfect opportunity to have you back on, Papa Rhino, and we'll show
I would love to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. So here, I'm gonna put you back. We're gonna go back to this format. So awesome, man. I really appreciate it. Are you gonna stick around for a little while for the chat topic?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this would be great. So that's 5 and 5. So we did that. Let me make sure I get rid of that so I don't mix myself up. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was, we were talking a little bit earlier you guys were talking a little bit earlier and thing about pew-pews. That brought up a question about ammunition and some other stuff. And what I wanted to mention was that we have kniferights.org, right? And I know, Stacy, I'll let you throw up the information on that because I know you have it handy. I don't know if Gonzo or Mimo have that handy, but I really do believe in that as well. And if you don't want to actually donate money to kniferights.org, which basically helps nationwide fight across the entire country to gain back knife rights for people, you can always do something that's more knife related for you as a collector, and you could buy a Doug Ritter RSK or RSK Mini. So every time one of these knives gets purchased, whatever variant of it is, a portion of basically all of his profits from this particular knife go toward kniferights.org and fighting legislatively to get the rights for knife carry back in a lot of states in the United States. So the RSK and the RSK Mini are fantastic knives. They are definitely a different creature than a Benchmade Griptilian, which is not a bad knife, but these are a different creature, and these are really worth the price of admission. So I just wanted to bring that up. There you go, Gonzo threw it up there, kniferights.org.
Kansas used to have very stout knife laws. We couldn't have autos. We couldn't have things over a certain length. And then they decided that it was unconstitutional, and they went full constitutional carry. And that includes guns and knives. So if you own it, you can carry it legally in this state without any permit.
Yeah, I'm lucky too. I live in Arizona where we have full gun and knife rights out here. But I just wanted to bring that up because, and then we have the Knife Live thing will be, that happens every year where there's a lot of people that go on and it's like a little, marathon live stream with a lot of guests and guest hosts and people who come on and off of that. So keep your eyes out for that stuff. But if you're into knives and you love knives, even if you live in a state where, what's up, Blaze Burger? Even if you live in a state where you have a lot of knife rights, it's not a bad idea to purchase a knife that'll the money will go toward that, or to make a donation to knife rights, because there's a lot of people out there in the United States and other places that don't have those kind of rights. So again, just a little public service announcement on that. So this is the chat topic I've been meaning to bring up for a while, and I've had this conversation privately with some other friends in the knife community. What I wanted to ask you guys is, what's something that you don't like about buying a knife? Okay, so, and I'm going to give you an example just to kind of get the subject rolling here. I'll give you an example for myself. I'm not totally opposed to this, by the way, but it's something that I prefer not to have. So if I buy a titanium knife, a frame lock titanium knife, I don't want one side of it to be Micarta. I don't want one side of it to be G10. I want a titanium knife. Okay, so that's just me. That's one of my things. It's one of my little pet peeves, right? I always look for the models that are full titanium on both sides. Like,
I'm not a big fan of that either.
Right. If if I want a Micarta handled knife, I'll buy a knife with Micarta on both sides. But if I want a titanium frame lock, I want a titanium frame lock for a reason. I want it for the durability. I want it for the ruggedness. I don't need a fancy handle on one side and titanium on the other. I feel like if I'm spending that upwards into that price category, that's something I don't like. So anyway, I was just wondering, like, do you guys have any pet peeves? Is there certain things about buying a knife that will make you shy away from it? Maybe a certain blade configuration, maybe a certain style of knife, or a certain, whatever, certain design. I'm just curious, like, because a lot of buying a knife is aesthetics, right? And even though I don't have a problem with G10 and the card on a knife, like for me, one of my little pet peeves is that, like, I don't like to buy knives that are, I call them half and halves, right? I feel like you get a half a knife. That's the way I look at it. So I'm just curious what you guys have out there. What about you? Do you have any of those kind of little pet peeves?
Well, not really. So I was kind of the same way on the half and half. I don't like one side micarta and one side titanium. But since my two most recent purchases with the Emp Edc, to where it's titanium and micarta,
Mm-hmm.
and the fin rear as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind it when it's this way. But I don't like one side to be one thing and one side to be another, because where I'm gripping is the same on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important to me.
I agree. So Urban Woodsman says big pocket pecker flipper tops is a big time turnoff. So I agree with that too. I don't understand sometimes. Like, I'll give you here's a perfect example: the Nessie, right? That's a cool knife, but it has this ridiculous looking flipper tab sticking up in the stratosphere. And I look at that knife and I go, no. Like, I like the knife, but I don't like the flipper tab. So that would turn me off too. That would definitely, Rich Man says CR13 MOV. And both sides have to be the same. Okay, there you go. So see, let's see. Nebula says the wait for it to arrive in my mailbox. I agree with that. It's tough sometimes, right? It's tough to wait for a knife. It's really tough to spend, like, you do a minimal pre-order and you spend $325 or whatever it is for the knife, and then you got to wait 2 or 3 months to actually get it in the mail. Like, that's torturous. Right?
For me, that is a big thing too. I'm impatient when I order a knife, but my big thing would be here in Kansas. You always hear the joke, the Kansas truck stop knife. It's because that's all we have out here. We don't have a single knife store anywhere in this state whatsoever. You can Google it. There is nothing. So in order to get into knives, I have to order. And it's the never having it in hand first.
I agree. Yeah, that is
I'm
tough.
always worried if I get it, I'm not going to like it. But so far, it hasn't happened to me. But I'm also a very picky person. So I don't follow the hype. I won't order it just because 100 people are ordering it. Mm-hmm. I will look at something for a long time before I actually order it in.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the hardest things about buying knives. Like, I have knives that I have to review yet still this year, and just getting them in and handling them, like, even though I haven't reviewed the knife, I know that I'm going to end up giving that knife away. It's going to be a giveaway knife once I'm done reviewing it, because I know right off the bat, I'm like, nah, this isn't what I thought it was, and I've run into that with a few knives, mostly budget knives. But, it's just one of those things. Like, it's a hard part about knife buying. It's not like you want to buy a pair of shoes, right? And you know that Nike's running a certain size, or Adidas is running a different size, or like, what style you like. And so you look for that all the time. With knives, you don't really know until you get it whether you're going to like it,
If I won't use it, it's got to go somewhere else. I'm not afraid to use a single knife I have on my kayak to clean fish or gut a rabbit or cut morels or cut mushrooms off a tree. Doesn't matter if it's a $50 knife, $500 knife. It's going to be in my pocket for use.
Yep, I agree. Every knife that I'm keeping in my knife collection, I use. Now, there's knives I've gotten in for the channel, and I've reviewed them. I've put them to use for a couple of weeks or whatever amount of time I've had them, just so I could see what they were all about. And I know I'm not going to, keep that knife and use it. But like I said, I have a lot of knives right now. That's why, like, my Christmas special that I do this year, there'll be a lot of knives to give away, because I have a bunch of knives I'm going to review between now and Christmas. And then those are going to be giveaway knives. And I'm just going to start that process all over again next year.
Yeah, so I've got one that I haven't used, and I've only used it one time, and that was the museum piece from Dan, the chef's knife. The other museum piece spent a week with me in the wilderness out in Arkansas just recently, a few weeks back. And I had it in the water, had it out in the woods, even though it spent its time in the museum and it's got its heritage to it. That thing's meant to be outdoors. It's meant to be used.
Right. No, and that's the thing. Like I guess that's one of the reasons I have like I don't begrudge anybody for this. Buy your knife, do whatever you want with it. But I look at some of the knives like we had. If you remember, we had a live stream where we talked about like at what point does a knife become ludicrous and it no longer becomes a tool, right? I showed like $5,000 Marthion customs and things like that, and I'm like, I would never buy that even if I had the money because I would never use that knife.
Yeah.
You know, you never take a knife that cost $5,000 and had meteorite fucking inlays in it that came from outer space and take it out in the field and like be cutting stuff at a campsite with it. I just wouldn't do that. But anyway,
yeah, it's like Tactical Everyday Dad sent me some prototypes recently, and they've already been out and been in the woods with me. They've already been cleaning walleye. A knife's meant to be used. I mean, I guess that's part of me is just from being a chef. A knife has a purpose, and it's to be used.
Right. It's interesting because now some people are starting to throw out more stuff. Like Alan Graywolf said, steel scales with no texture. I just got a new CRKT that I can barely open because the flipper has smooth jimping. I agree. Right?
Jimping on the flipper, huh?
You know, maybe something sucks not having a knife start out. I agree with that. Yeah, there's no doubt. Not being able to try out knives. Todd Carr just said that. Nebby Carl says Arizona has lots of gas station knives too. That's true. We do have a couple of big knife stores in the state, but not many. Let's see.
Yeah, see, I could travel 8 hours to the west and never see a knife store.
That sucks. I don't like having to buy a knife without holding it too. I'm making a pilgrimage to River Judge Cutlery this weekend though. So there you go. Yeah, and that makes it tough, right? And I think that's why a lot of people who collect knives online, and the majority of the knives I buy are coming from online. You find a brand that you like, and you realize what their design style is, and you kind of tend to stick with those type of designs because you realize, that you might not like something else. So it's always a tough thing to buy knives sight unseen. I wish they were like, I wish you could like they had a try while you buy type of program. You know what I mean? G-Bot says I don't buy anything good either, not for a few hours. Yep. So there you go. And somebody else mentioned both sides have to be the same. So, and I agree with you. Like, I like the knives you just pointed out, like the concept, that's two different materials. On one side, you've got a bolster area, and then you've got a material. That I'm okay with. But I hate when you get what I call a half and a half and half knife, They're
still symmetrical. Both sides, your thumb, your hand's going to be on micarta down low, and it's going to be on titanium up top. Exactly, so you're getting the same feel to both sides of the knife, or even in a reverse grip. No matter how you hold it, you're going to get the same feel instead of smooth on one side with micarta texture on the other.
And I don't know about you, but I always feel like, and I understand why they do this on frame locks, because the frame lock is on what would be the palm side if you're right-handed. Yeah. But I always feel like that's the side if I were going to have grip on one side of the knife, that's the fucking side I would want to be on. Like, I want it on that side of the knife. On the other side of the knife. Give a shit about that. I got a thumb on that, 2 fingers, whatever.
Because I'm looking at it as like with the PM2 or with the Fenrir, if I'm cleaning a fish and I've got to work to get it up into a walleye, I don't want one side of my hand slipping up on that blade. I
agree. Yeah. Right. Mark said, I think it's ludicrous that for a modern knife designed for hand tool assembly that warranties are void for owners tear down, cleaning, and reassembly. I agree with that too. And it's why I don't really worry about that too much because I feel like unless you fuck the knife up, putting it back together, like how is the manufacturer going to know that you took a knife apart? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you use a good set of tools, a good set of bits, and you're careful and conscientious, like it shouldn't ever really be an issue. Like it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, by the way, I can't send this knife back to you for a chipped blade because I took it apart.
Yeah, you void the warranty for caring for your knife.
Right, exactly. I took it apart and cleaned it, but then like if the blade chipped on it or the tip broke off. That's why I love like what Essie does. It's like you break it, send it back to us. We'll send you another one.
Yeah, they have a fantastic warranty.
Yeah, I like Freak Show. He said no safe queens. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Let's see. Who else here? D2 is getting to be a deal breaker for me now. Okay, I can see that. I mean, there's a ton of, especially budget knives. There's a ton of budget knives out there with D2 on them, and I kind of look at that too, and I wonder, if you can, and I'll use Asher for an example. Like, he's offering knives with S35 VN and M390 on them for like 90 to $100. If he can do that, how come somebody like Kubi or Tucson or whatever can't give us these knives without putting D2 on them? Like I would agree with that. I think it's kind of a shortcut. Like, you get a really nice knife, but then they give you a steel that's not fully stainless. And that's one of my only issues with D2 is it's not fully stainless. I don't mind D2 as a steel overall, but it's not fully stainless. I live in Arizona where it's really dry most of the year, so I don't really have an issue with D2. But if I lived in the deep south, or I lived in Florida, or I lived, somewhere up on the East Coast where I used to live, where it gets really super humid and damp all the time, I would not want a D2 knife.
Yeah, so, like here right now, it's 105 out with 95% humidity.
There you go. Yep. Let's see what else we got here.
I honestly think they do that partially to see how it sells before they put a premium blade on it. Because I've noticed with Tucson, the more I look at them, because I really want to get my first Tucson, I just can't decide which one I want to get. But I've noticed just about all models have a D2 version. Mm-hmm. But then if you look, a second version will be M390, S35V, something like that. Yeah. So I think they wait and see how it sells before they put their money into that premium blade. But that's just my thinking. I could be way off on that.
I like this too. He says, quit Loctiting all the damn pivots and screws. The buyer can do it. I'm sick of T-ticks and six and squip screws. It's funny we're just bringing up talking about like Tucson doing a budget knife or a knife with a budget steel and then a better steel. So this is a knife I'm going to be reviewing. It's on loan to me. And by the way, if anybody out there has one of these they want to sell, you can hit me up, okay, please. This is the Tucson TS-138 Dracula. Okay, and some of you have probably seen this knife around. This is a really cool knife. It's all tie.
I haven't seen that one before.
Super cool Warncliffe blade. It's a Wong Designs knife. The thumb studs are removable, and they have the exact same size hole as what's drilled right here into it. This thing is super cool. It has a humongous finger choil on the front of it. But the only version of this knife I can find at current is in D2, and I don't want a D2 one. Like, I like this. This is titanium and M390 on this one. So this is like, they make one just like this with D2, and that's like $80. And then they make this M390 one, which is 125 or 130. But this is an amazing little knife. I mean, it's got great ergos. It feels good in your hand. It's got some thickness to it. It's full titanium. It's got a very nice usable pocket clip. So this is a perfect example of what you're talking about. They make a cheaper version of this, and then they make one with a premium steel. And I'm okay with that too. It gets you into the knife without quite as much of an investment as going with the higher end steel. But I feel like ingot D2 is just easy for them. There's no reason why they can't give you 14C28N or S30.
Well, look what Asher did with the Picket. What was it? $25 free shipping and S35VN.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I mean, those were blemish knives, but they're only $60, 60 or 65. They say
blemished, but I can't find one tiny blemish on the one I got.
All it is the smile on the grind. That's it. Almost every one of those I've seen that people have shown like a close-up picture of, they have a little smile on the grind because there's such a small sharpening choil on the back edge that I think when they ground them at the factory, they just got into the choil. And then
but he didn't lose money on that. He gave it to you at cost. That kind of gives you an idea.
Right. No, I agree. But I'm just saying, like, I appreciate him doing that because basically what he's saying is, hey, this doesn't quite meet my standards, but I'm willing to let these go and get them out there, And all it does is really promote his product better because people are looking at it going, I don't see anything wrong with this knife. I bought two of them.
Well, and you see people that maybe never owned an Asher are like, for $25, I'm going to give that a shot.
Hell yeah. I agree. One of them I bought for myself to keep, and the other one I'm giving away this fall. Let's see. What else we got here? I'm not a big fan of buying a knife that I haven't had in my hands. That was why I was late to the nimble game. Yep, I agree with that. That's part of it. Once I held a nimble for the first time, I was like, oh, okay, I got to have one of these.
I haven't owned a frag, and with the nimble pre-order, I'm kind of curious what I'm going to think of the frag style on the handle, because I don't have a whole lot of folders. I just got into that.
I'll tell you this: the nimble frag is not sharp. It's textured and it's very well done, I think, but it's not sharp. If you're looking for kind of sharp frag, kind of aggressive frag, you're not going to get that on the nimble. You're going to get a nice texturing that gives you some grip and obviously gives, you know, dirt and other stuff a place to go if you're handling the knife while your hands are dirty, but it's not aggressive. It's definitely, yeah. So that, if that helps at all. Riveted handles are a buzz killer. Yeah, I think so. That would be a turn off for me too. Let's see. What else we got? I got Freak Show there. Yep. So I live in the south of, here we go, of Dayton, north of Cincinnati. It's about 20 minutes from me. Never been there though. Oh, he's talking about going to River's Edge Cutlery. Yeah, you have fun doing that. That'll be a good time, man. Anytime you go to a nice big knife shop, it's like being a kid in a candy store, you know?
I need to get my butt over to Finch. Speaking, it's not a knife shop, but Finch Knives is 20 minutes down the road from me.
Yeah. Huh. So what? So it's not a knife shop, but they've what? I didn't catch all that. What do they have in there?
Well, no, the Finch Knife Company.
Oh, Finch Knife Company. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. All right, yeah. So they did all the little Finch folders, like the devil's finger and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Let's see. Gonzo says Tucson D2 is pretty damn good, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, there's no issue with some of the good knife manufacturers with the quality of their D2. I just think it's a little lazy of them sometimes to put that on there. And Todd says, isn't the Asher getting his knives made by Kunwu now? I think he is. He mentioned that he was making a change in manufacturers. The whatever you want to call it, the blueprints for the knife are just switching from whoever was making them before to a different manufacturer. And you might be right. It might be Kunwu. And they make some really nice knives, man. The Tao and the Ronin are both very, very solid knives by them. Alan Graywolf, then we might have been neighbors. I grew up in Southwest Ohio. Okay. Yeah, so there's the Talia's D2. I like it. There's nothing wrong with D2. You just got to take care of it a little more if you live in those hotter climates. Yeah, D2, you don't know who's making it. I agree, right? So as I was saying, if you're getting a Tucson, if you're getting a Sativian, if you're getting, whatever, a Civivi or something like that, you're probably going to be fine. If you get a Rake, and D2, like all of those companies know how to do a pretty good job because Rake is SRM anyway. They know how to do a pretty good job with it. He says, fuck anything but stainless. D2 or carbon steels and a fixed blade is fine. Yeah, I got you, brother. I understand that. Let's see. Anyway, what else we got here? I'm just trying to see what we're still carrying on the same conversation. Looks like that's kind of run its course. So what else did I have for you guys tonight? Let's see. We talked about things you don't like on a knife. It's interesting how many of us don't like half and half knives, which that's kind of cool. I wasn't sure what the deal is going to be on that. So I want to talk about next week real quick. Here's the deal. Okay. First of all, I'm totally jazzed to have Papa Rhino on here tonight. You don't know how cool this was. You made my day, brother. When you got a hold of me, I was like, hell yeah! I'm like, we're bringing him on several. Are you kidding me? So kudos, man.
We got done with our class early, and that's why I was like, hey, I'm actually done because I had to teach a class for ServSafe today for a bunch of chefs.
Right. No, I'm super happy, and I would love having you back in a couple weeks for the Fixed Blade episode. And we got it just jumped on. We got Mateo in the house too. What's going on, Mateo? So for those of you who came in a little late, don't forget to hit the like button. There's like 40 people in the stream, so thank you very much. There's a merchandise store now. If one of the mods could grab that from somewhere earlier in the chat or from the website and post it back up for some people. So I do have some merchandise now. I'm going to have more. I will have hoodies in there probably by Saturday. So if you're looking for hoodies, we'll have a couple of those in there as well. What I want to tell you is next week, I will for sure have at least one guest, but I probably will have two guests. So, confirmed for next week's 5 and 5, he's going to be on my live stream, folks. I don't think anybody's ever seen him before. Everybody knows who he is, and he has some kick-ass knives. I will have King Pope Caesar on next week. Yeah.
Nice.
I've been talking back and forth with him. I had hinted a few times, but I think a couple of people in the community, after I mentioned it a few weeks back, they kind of hit him up. And so he kind of was like, him and I started talking back and forth, and we had some good conversations, and he is going to come on. Thank you, Michael Morgan, by the way, for putting up the link for the merch store. He is going to come on next week and do a 5 and 5.
You've got two guests on today. You're just not on camera.
Yeah. There you go.
So big shout out to Kayla and Gene Johnson. Hey, it's the Johnsons. Kayla made this for me, and I absolutely love it.
EDC Roundtable, baby. G-Boss says, I'll come on sometime in the future. Okay, so just hit me up either through email or Instagram. My email address, eionansedge@gmail.com, or Instagram, G-Ball. I'd love to have you on. Seriously, I'll have no trouble filling guest spots with people from here in the stream. So KPC is going to be on next week. He's going to do the 5 and 5. It'll be the first time he's been on live, I believe. And he's coming on my live, so that's pretty cool. And then also, if everything works out the way it's supposed to work out, I will also have Uncle Cow on here next week. He's going to come on a little bit, and he's going to supposedly give us a little bit of update. Yes, Stacy did talk to King Pope Caesar. He mentioned that you talked to him. He also mentioned there was somebody else that comes to my live streams every week that hit him up. I had been talking a little bit with him over social media, but not really through messaging. And so thank you, Stacy, and whoever else it was that hit him up. He got a hold of me, and we talked back and forth many times.
I love Uncle Cow.
Yeah, but Uncle Cow is scheduled to come on next week. I don't know how long.
I get to ask him what he thinks of the Nate Diaz Chimaev fight.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have some opinions on that. But he's also supposed to give us a little, quick update on what's going on, because he is moving soon. It'll be this month. He's scheduled to move and be in a new place, and hopefully that will get the ball moving for him so he can start doing more stuff. But he's a good guy. He's very inspirational. He watches all my lives after, on replay. So that's why I shout him out every week. But he is going to try his best to be here next week. So we will definitely have KPC for 5 and 5, and maybe for a little guest time afterwards. And then we should also have Uncle Kyle popping in, and hopefully we'll be able to get him on as well. That's Blade Review. What's up, E? What's going on, brother? Yeah, it looks like Alan Greywolf might have been looking for my email too. Yeah, so we'll throw that up again too. Let me just reiterate that right here on the screen. Contact me at this Gmail address or my Instagram account, which is right there on the screen, if you're interested in coming on and doing 5 and 5. This is fantastic. I do not own the knives that Papa Rhino owns, right? Papa Rhino, I love this guy here on the screen. He's great. And he has knives that I don't have. And some of you other folks out there have knives that I don't have. I have knives that you don't have, etc. So that's why I love having this 5 and 5 thing, because I think it's fantastic for the community to be able to share what they've purchased. We can't all go to Blade Show, or we can't all make a knife meetup at a certain state or point in time. But you can show off some of the stuff that you collect. And that's a fun part of doing this. So thank you again, Pop Rhino, for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. Of course. And it's been super fun seeing the knives you have, and also having you come in and chat. So this is super cool. But anyway, yeah. So hit me up if you want to do that. So KPC next week, hopefully, if everything works out for him, I would say it's better than 50-50, but you never know with what's going on with Uncle Kyle's life if he's going to make it. But I hope he does make it next week. I'll be really excited if he does. So the other thing I want to talk about is we got a little bit of time left here tonight, is the new live stream that's going to be coming up. So my second live stream is going to be called the Saturday Social. It's going to premiere August 13th, 4 Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It'll run about the same amount of time, probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. There's a little less congestion there in the afternoon, but it's going to be a lot more laid back. We're just going to talk about whatever. We'll talk about nice stuff, but if somebody wants to talk about vinyl record albums or cooking food, or
I'll talk vinyl all day long with you.
There you go, right? So it's a huge vinyl record collection. I know Jason Brown does too. Byron Kennedy was asking about that. You know, if they want to talk, we can talk other things.
I think last time we counted, I was either just under or just over 16,000 records.
Oh gosh, you got a bigger collection. I was at like 700 or 800, but that's still a lot, right? And a lot of my stuff is vintage, so it takes a long time to collect, you know, hundreds or thousands of records. But yeah, so we can talk records, we can talk, you know, about pews. I have some other topics I'm going to bring up. That's going to be more of a social time. We will talk knives. I'll bring knives every week, and they'll probably always be a guest. I've already got a couple people lined up. But I'd love to, it's going to be a little bit more like what Maddie does. You know, people in the stream can come on. I'll throw the link in. And if somebody just wants to jump in for a little while and come on and chat and hang out, we're going to do that. I'm doing that for two reasons. One, because I don't know if I'm always going to be able to make the Tuesdays, right? Most of you know that I've got a lot going on with my wife's health issues, her battle against cancer.
And, you know, I was going to ask you how that was going.
Yeah, I'm going to give an update on that in a minute. And then the other part was I just looked at, you know, like there's people who tell me, hey, I would love to make your live, but I'm just never available on Tuesdays. So I figured this would be a good way to, you know, if I do miss a Tuesday, I can still do a Saturday a couple times a month, but also I can get some of those people out there in the knife community that want to pop in and attend a live that I'm doing. And they can come in on a Saturday. So I don't plan on being like Mike Emmer and doing 9 of them a week. That's not going to happen. But you know, but I figure if I have an extra day a couple times a month that people can pop in, it'll be fun. And as long as we get some attendance, then I'll keep doing it. But it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot more chilled out format. Like every week, I have a format that I run through here, and it takes me right up to about 5 o'clock.
What time are you going to do that on Saturdays?
It's going to start at 4 Eastern, so 1 Pacific.
Okay.
And then it'll run an hour and a half to 2 hours, kind of like this one does. We don't really have anybody backed up behind us like we have Cole every week here. And I don't run deeply into Cole's time because I like watching his lives as well. And a lot of people here like to watch his lives. So, but on Saturdays, I won't be up against that same time constraint. So if we run a little over and we're just talking and having a good time, then that'll be fine as well. Let's see, some more comments coming in here. Stacy says, I have a lot of vinyl too. Yeah, so like we can talk about different stuff. Nemo's top 5 I suppose could come up in conversation. So we'll see what happens.
See, vinyl was work for me for many, many, many decades. Well, for many years, but over 2 decades because I was a turntablist. I toured for it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I collected, and I didn't collect for a long time, and then I got back into collecting shortly before we moved out here. It's a little tougher where I live in Arizona right now because there's not as many record shops. Like I go into a couple places all the time, and I see a lot of the same
sales.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you go to a garage sale, and they'll be like 50 cents $1 a record, and you can just walk up and be like, "I'll give you $10 for the whole box."
Yeah, exactly.
Dig through it, take out what you want. And then go to a vinyl store or a record store and just flip it. Be like, I'll give you this whole box for those 3 I want over there.
Yeah, no, I've done that too. I've bought estate sales and garage sales and bought some really cool stuff. You know,
I was part of a lot of record pools back when I was DJing and doing the turntable thing. And so you would spend $250 a month and you would get 150 records in, and 50 of them would be electronic, 50 of them be hip hop, and then it would be 10 top 40, 10 top 10, and then the rest 30 would be random. You could have got anything in them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about collecting like that. But I would do the same thing. I would just say, how much for the whole box? If I looked through it and I saw a handful of stuff I liked, you know, and they were cheap, I would buy the whole box too. Because then I would just take the other ones and just trade them in. I would just be like, okay, you know.
Yeah, you don't even care if you get pennies on the dollar for them.
Yeah, you don't even care. But the biggest thing is just like, this is one of the things with collecting records is sometimes you buy records and they look pretty good. The sleeves look good, and the records look like they're in pretty good shape, and then you get them home and they got a big wallet.
Here's a trick about that. You can get on, I'd either Google it or check Amazon. they make this little hippie bus, like a VW wagon, the bus. And it's got a speaker in the back of it and a needle on the bottom, and it's got felt wheels. Take it when you go, set it on the record at the store or anything, and it just drives around it and plays it, and that'll at least tell you whether it's warped, whether it has scratches or imperfections. And they're only like 30 or 40 bucks.
That's cool. I didn't even realize that existed. But yeah, that would be one of the worst things. That you'd find something you really liked, you'd pick it up, and then you get it home and you put it on and it'd be freaking warped. And you'd be like, oh God, like sometimes if it's a light warp, you can fix it, but not that often, But anyway, we'll talk about records and stuff like that on the Saturday social. So again, guys, the first Saturday social is going to be on August 13th, 4 p.m.
Sorry,
Eastern.
I didn't start nerding out on that for you.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We'll talk about maps. The topic can be pretty much reasonably, it can be anything. All right. So that's not going to be specifically just a knife only format. So I got a little bit of time left here. So story time. Story time. I probably won't do story times all the time on the Saturday socials. It's going to just be more of a hangout and chat type of thing. But every Tuesday live we'll have a story time. Tonight is no different. So gather around, children. Gather around, get your blankets, get your pillows. Oh, I almost forgot something really important. Word of the week. Here it is, folks. Word of the week. Okay, for those of you writing it down, Halloween and Christmas, special drawings for the word of the week. There you go. If you've been keeping track, all right. So there it is. It is Kung Fu. That's inspired by Byron Kennedy because he kept throwing Kung Fu up there all the time. I'm like, okay, we got to put something up that's close to that. So anyway, story time. Story time. Here we go. Let's see. Oops. The other thing I didn't mention tonight is episode 7 of Fully Deployed is on the way. Not next week, but definitely the week after for sure. So before the middle of the month, I will have episode 7 out. I've already worked out a script. I just have to find the time to actually shoot that episode, and then we will have episode 7 up for you. Gather around, children. It's story time with Unky Owens. Okay, so you get the word of the week. We talked about cool shit. I'm totally stoked. I have guests who I'm good friends with come on tonight. So thanks again. Really appreciate that. So tonight's story is going to be called Step Brother Swamp Buggies. All right. So when I was a kid, my parents got divorced, and my dad got remarried right away. He traded my mom in for a younger model, as some men are prone to do. And he married a woman who had two sons that were older than me, and a few years older than me. And basically what happened was they were extremely wild and mischievous. And they really had no structure in their lives before my dad came on. So my dad's partly in the story. And my dad was pretty much a disciplinarian, and they knew that he didn't let them get away with very much. So one night, my dad and my stepmother, my parents, I'll call them, they went out of town for the evening, and they weren't coming back till the next day. They got picked up. They went with some friends. So we had 2 vehicles at the time. We had a yellow Chevy Vega. Okay, I don't know how many of you remember those. We had a yellow Chevy Vega, and we had a K5 4-wheel drive V8 Blazer, Chevy Blazer. Okay, and that was a pretty rugged vehicle. I mean, that thing would pretty much go through anything. Those old K5s are pretty solid vehicles. So anyway, those were our 2 vehicles, and they were both parked in the yard. And my dad, he would hide the keys a lot of times because he knew that these 2 one of them had a driver's license and the other one didn't. One was 16, one was, I forget, 14 or 15. And but they had taken the car. Like I told you about the time my dad beat up one of my stepbrothers later in life for stealing the family car. But anyway, so he beat the shit out of him, right? So he let him stay in jail too. That's a fun thing. He called the cops, had him arrested, and had him put in jail. But anyway, so in this story, this is when they were a little younger. So one of them had a driver's license, one of them didn't. And my parents went away. And so they come to me, it's like twilight, and they come to me and they go, hey, they go, I keep hearing this weird hiccup noise. But they come to me and they said, hey, you want to come with us? We're going to take the Blazer and the Vega, and we're going to go down the back road here because we lived in the country. We're going to go down the back road here, and we're going to drive through the road that cuts through the swamp, and we're going to race back and forth from one end of it to the other. And this is a dirt road. This is not like a paved road. This is a dirt road that's a little more than single width, and it winds through a swamp for like 3 or 4 miles, and then you get to blacktop on the other end where the other housing community was. And then you could turn around there in people's driveways and then drive back, right? And we used to like do that on our bicycles or our motorcycles and our bicycles. As we got older, we had motorcycles, and we would race through the swamp. But this is 2 cars on a small little road in the swamp. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. And they're like, come on, don't be a wimp. I'm like, no, first of all, I don't have a driver's license. And secondly, I won't be driving either one of these vehicles. So this won't be any fun for me. Right? So they ramble on about me not wanting to participate. I'm like, whatever. I'm going to go up in my room and listen to vinyl records, which is what I did. So I go upstairs and I listen to records. And about an hour later, these 2 come back and they burst in the house and they come upstairs and they're like, oh my God, we need your help. And I'm like, what do you need help with? And they're like, we crashed the car and we got the Blazer stuck in the swamp. I'm like, well, that's unfortunate for you. If it were the other way around, it would be a lot easier, right? You could turn the car out of the swamp with a 4-wheel drive Blazer. So they go down. They convinced me to go down, and they ran back to the house, right? And I'm like, I'm not running down. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? I'm gonna get on my bike, my dirt bike, and I'm gonna ride down there. So I ride down there with their bike, and there's the Blazer stuck in the swamp bog, and the Vega's actually not really wrecked, but it has a dent in the side of it where it slid off the road and hit some like swamp bushes, and so it's got a dent in the side of it. So I'm like, well, I go, if it were me, I would just, put the Blazer in 4-wheel drive, hook the Vega to the back of it. I said, I just did the best you can. I mean, other than calling a tow truck, and you don't want to do that because then, everybody's going to know. So they were all pissed at me because I didn't want to help. I'm like, I don't want to be any part of this. I don't even really want to know that this happened. So I stay there and I make sure the Blazer doesn't sink into the swamp and disappear. And it doesn't. And then eventually, after a lot of they get the Blazer out and they drive both vehicles back to the house. So then they're like, well, what are we going to tell the old man? They go, do you have any ideas? And I'm like, no. Time out. This has nothing to do with me. You guys wrecked these cars. So you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do. I go, you can either fess up and say that you did it. And then no way, we're not doing that. I go, of course you're not, because you're a couple of dirtbags, right? And of course you're not going to tell everybody what you did. So I said, or you can, do whatever you think you want to do to hide it. So this is what they do. They park both of the vehicles. They drive both of the vehicles out to our barn, and they wash them both off with a hose. And then they bring them back, and they park them in the driveway as close to where they were originally as possible. And the Vega was actually parked on the lawn side of the driveway. And there was a big oak tree there on that side of the driveway. So this is what they told my dad. They only told him about the Vega because he asked, where did the dent come from in the car? And they said, well, we hit it with a bicycle. So one of my stepbrothers actually ran the bicycle into the side of the barn and tacoed the wheel on it, on his bike. And he said, well, I hit it with the bike, and that's why the wheel on the bike is bent. So he ruined the wheel on his bike so that he could say that he was riding the bike across the lawn, and he jumped over the tree and hit the car, which was pretty scary.
He put more time into the lie than
Yeah, so they put a lot to this lie, right? And then they watched both vehicles so they were not covered in inspection. They actually looked pretty damn clean. So my father comes home the next day, and this is what made him skeptical, because they went to him and they said, "Hey, we put a dent in your car," and he's like, "Oh, really?" Right? Because he'd already seen it, and he goes, "Yeah, I saw it on the back side of the Vega." And he said, "Well, this is what happened. I was riding my bike," and he showed him the bike with the bent tacoed front wheel, right? And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "That looks pretty high up on the car for you to hit that with the wheel of your bike." He goes, "Well, I was jumping over the side of the roof section of the tree." He goes, "Okay." Right. So my dad, he kind of knows that something's up, right? And he goes, "So you didn't take the car or the truck and go anywhere?" And they're like, No, we didn't, right? So they thought they got away with it. They thought that they got away with it. 2 days go by. And the next 2 days, it was super, super hot and dry, right? And so my stepmother goes out, because the Blazer actually was her vehicle. My dad drove the Vega a lot. She goes out to get in the Blazer, and she backs out of the driveway. And as she goes down the little lower section of the driveway, the little hump in the driveway, all this mud falls out from under the fender wells in the frame, all over the ground. So my dad, he gets out, he's like, "What the hell is that noise?" And he gets out and he looks under the vehicle, and there's mud, dry mud everywhere. And he looks underneath it, and the whole bottom of the vehicle is all covered with mud. They didn't really wash inside the fender wells and stuff good. So then he goes over and he looks at the Vega, and he sees the same thing. It's like the whole underside of the car is covered with mud and like swamp reeds and all this. And so that's how they got caught. And they were grounded for like a month, and they got in a lot of trouble. But anyway, so they thought they got away with it, but they forgot to wash out the underside of the cars. So that is Stepbrother Swamp Buggies. And these kids were wild guys. We had a barn, a huge barn. The big red barn that you thought you'd see on a farm, because we had horses and we had chickens and a lot of other stuff. And we had a hay loft and the whole thing. My stepbrothers used to shoot holes in the barn with their rifles. Our barn. Like, how fucked up do you have to be to shoot holes in your own barn? Right? That's how bad these kids were, right? That's how lacking in brain cells for these kids actually were. They were like shooting holes in the barn, and my father would be like, "Well, gee, you got a 30-30 Marlin, and there's a 30 caliber hole inside that barn, and there's another one over there, and there's one in the window." And I'm just like, guys, it's like, this is not rocket science here. Like, who knows it was you, Anyway, that's a story about my stepbrothers. And my dad, he was a pretty smart guy, so he pretty much knew that something was up, and he caught him a couple of days later. Anyway, that is one of my many family stories. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys had a good time on the live tonight. A lot of information passed on. And don't miss the next couple of weeks, because we're going to have KPC on next week. And then 2 weeks from now, we're going to have Papa Rhino back on, and he's going to do Fixed Blade Night. He'll bring 5 and 5 for Fixed Blade, and we're going to talk about Fixed Blades on that night. Specifically, we're going to have a conversation about carrying and what you like, what you don't like, all that kind of stuff. So that is what we're yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a good time.
Before you take off, I want my update on Miss Edge. How's she doing?
Thank you for reminding me, actually. I got so wrapped up in story time. So she's doing pretty well. Second treatment is tomorrow. She's getting whacked every week with 3 different kinds of chemo, so it's pretty rough. The good news is she did not have any real big side effects from the first treatment. Good. She's got a little bit of rash going on the back of her neck, and she's had some numbness and neuropathy in her hands, a little bit, just a tiny bit of nausea, but nothing that's prevented her from eating or drinking things. So she's doing really good, and she's terrible about hydration usually. She'll hope that I told you this. But she's been doing really good. She's been
Can't be terrible about hydration in Arizona, man.
So she's been writing it down and keeping a log, and so she's doing really well with that. And so far, so good. So we're cautiously optimistic. I didn't realize that if you're going to react badly to the chemo that they're giving you, it usually happens within the first few drops or ounces. In other words, it's that potent that if you're going to have a problem with it, it's usually bam. It's usually like right away. She didn't have any of that, but it's a long day. We're gonna be there on average about 6 or 7 hours per visit.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of time for us on a Wednesday. But she is doing good. She's in good spirits so far. Family and friends have been really great about helping out with a lot of things on her wish list.
And you've got a whole community that'll rally around you, man.
And that's another thing I want to mention. This gentleman here on the screen, a lot of the people I shouted out at the beginning of the broadcast, and a lot of you folks that are in the live tonight. I've heard from so many of you. So many people have contacted me through email, through my Instagram account, left messages on the YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate that. I show all of that stuff to her. So please know that everything that you have said, every post that you have put up, every heart that you've done on one of her Instagram account posts, whatever, like all of that stuff is being seen, and we really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to her too. So thank you all for being here. You truly are my community. You are my minions. So, you know, I get you guys to assemble every week for me and do some work, right? Put in some prayers and all that stuff. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody being here. And again, also, as far as the 5 and 5, thank you, Pop Rhino, for a great 5 and 5 tonight. And anybody
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I love it, man. I was so stoked when you got a hold of me. It really made my day. But if you are interested, just hit me up. You don't have to be shy about it. And again, if you don't want to do the full frontal like Papa Rhino did tonight, you can always come on and just show off the knives. You don't have to necessarily sit and chat and show your face.
I'm pretty sure everybody in this stream, in this community, has more knives than I do as far as folders go.
Yeah. But hey, you know, that's the whole thing. Like, it's fun to share, you know? I mean, it's fun to share. And I want you guys to know, too, that these Tuesday nights for me are cathartic. You know, I love coming on and spending some time with you guys, talking knives, telling some stories, getting everybody to chat here. Like, I haven't done as good a job tonight keeping up with the chat as I normally do, but that's because, you know, I'm just kind of in the moment. So I really appreciate it, guys. I'm going to make some dinner. I'm going to catch some of Cole's live stream tonight. I will probably see most of you over there if you're there, and I will definitely see a lot of you tomorrow in Mattisfaction's live stream. Okay? So thanks again to my guests. Thank you to you guys. I hope you all had fun. Have a great night. We'll see you next Tuesday, all right? Peace out.